Hello and welcome to the Sip and Stitch podcast. My name is Brittany. I am coming to you from Houston, Texas, and you are watching episode 4 of my podcast. I would like to welcome any new viewers to the podcast. I greatly appreciate you coming by and taking some time to check me out. And also welcome back any returning viewers. I appreciate you coming back and seeing what else I've got to share with you this week. A couple of quick notes where you can find me on the interwebs. I am on Instagram as @dflyb. That is also my Ravelry ID. Those are probably the two best places to reach me. We also have a group on Ravelry for the podcast. It is Sip and Stitch Podcast, and all of the show notes will always be on my blog. It is sipandstitchknit.blogspot.com. Also, I'm on Twitter. Rarely, but I am on there, and it is Sip and Stitch Knitter is my Twitter handle. Wanted to mention a new podcast that I recently have been checking out, and it was actually at the suggestion of one of the viewers of this podcast wrote a note on YouTube and suggested that I check her out, and I've been enjoying it so far. It is the Bookish Stitcher. This is Jeanette, and she's actually really semi-close to me and really close to where I just moved from. She is out of San Antonio, Texas, so that's pretty exciting. And I mean, she's got great projects, and she likes to read too, like me, so it's a very entertaining podcast, so I just wanted to kind of give her a mention real quick. So jumping right into it, I've been fairly productive actually this week with my knitting. But it's been pretty much on one project. So I only have, well, actually I have 2 finished objects. Well, 1.5 finished objects to share with you this week. But one of them was a bit large, and I'm really actually quite impressed with the time I made on this one, because I am still very much a newer knitter. I knit with the English throwing style, so it takes a lot more time to make a stitch. There's a lot more movement to it. So I'm pretty impressed with how quickly I plowed through this guy. But yeah, so that's exciting. And to talk a little, actually I wanted to talk a little bit about the different knitting styles, because it seems to be kind of the trend right now with some of the podcasts that I watch. They've been filming themselves knitting at requests of different viewers. And, you know, I watched, and a lot of, I had tried continental knitting probably about 9 months or so ago. And it was just really hard for me to keep tension in my left hand. I'm very much a right-handy and very right-hand dominant, so it was very difficult for me to keep the yarn the right tension. I found that I was knitting either really tight or really loose. So I kind of gave up on continental for now. So I was really kind of intrigued to watch the other podcasters and how they knit. Notably, Mina from the Knitting Expat podcast and Kristen from Voolenvine both did recordings showing their knitting style, and they both knitted with what is called, like, I don't think it really has a name, but from everything I can tell, it's like the English picking style, and it's a lot quicker. And so I kind of tried that with the project that I've got on the needles right now. And again, I'm having a hard time tensioning, but it's something that I really, really want to work on, because they're going so much faster. And especially like this time of year when I'm trying to crank out a bunch of Christmas projects, speed would be fantastic. So I'm really going to work on training my hands to do that more, just because, I mean, I'm very comfortable with the throwing style. I get really even tension, but I need to go faster. My projects just seem to take forever to finish. So anyway. Okay, so I'll go ahead and move on straight to the finished object that I have to show with you that I'm super excited about. And this is my Song of the Sea Cowl. The pattern is by Louise Zas Bangham. And I had, I knitted this for my aunt, who I hope doesn't watch this podcast yet. I told my cousin about it, so I hope she didn't share. Sorry, Aunt Jamisa, I might have just ruined a Christmas surprise for you. Anyway, I knit this for my aunt, who it was the name that I drew for our family Secret Santa drawing. Let me stretch it out a little bit so you can see the pattern more. But it's got all these really cool waves to it. It starts with 2 repeats of, I think she calls it the breakers, and then she's got medium waves and then teeny tiny waves over here. So yeah, it's got this just really cool, neat pattern, and it is a large cowl. Like the pattern has 2 different size options. I chose the bigger one, mostly because I wanted to use as much yarn as possible. And I mean, my aunt's not really one of those that always has a lot of stuff around her neck, so I wanted something that was drapey and that she could wear formally. So yeah, so I'm very excited with how this turned out. It took me, this is my 2nd attempt. I had cast it on and then had a bit of a too much sipping and stitching night and ended up needing to frog out my 1st attempt. So I cast this back on Sunday night, maybe? Sunday night or Monday night. And I've been knitting monogamously on this week. So it took me about 3 or 4 nights to finish off. I just cast off and blocked it last night. So, and it was very excited that it was all dry and everything, and I could show it to y'all today. So that is my first finished object, and I'm super excited with it. So there we go. My other is a half. It is the first sock from my toe up experiment. I showed my progress on this one last week, but here's sock numero uno. I haven't weaved in the ends or anything yet, so I've still got my little marker over here and some excess up here. Now, this one was a combination of patterns. The basic sock construction comes from Silver Sock Glass, and it's actually from her 2 at a time toe up sock recipe, or sock class, but I just did 1 sock because I was having issues with 2 at a time. I did that, and then there's a Wendy's sock recipe that I used for stitch count on the toe, or how many just to start with. And then the actual texture pattern is from Hermione's Everyday Socks. So the yarn I used was Hedgehog Fibers sock yarn, and the colorway is Pistachio. And I'm really trying to get better at this focusing thing. A viewer gave me some hints last week, so there it is. Just wish my camera would do it a little bit faster. And I did these on a very long circular needle with magic loop style. I believe these are Hiya-Hiya's. Yeah. And these are, I use a size 1 for all of my sock projects. So that's what these are. Some notes about this. I like the concept of 2 at a time. I enjoy being able to try it on as I go. That was really fun. But I don't really like the short row heel. I gotta like gappies to it, and that's just not aesthetically pleasing to me. Thankfully in this yarn you can't really tell because it's so variegated, but in a semi-solid colorway you're gonna be able to tell really bad, and I don't really like that. I started researching different heel methods, and actually bought and downloaded the pattern for Fish Lips Kiss heel, which I will be using on my next sock. Well, another pair that I've got on the needles once I get back to that. So I might try that with toe up. I don't know, I really like the toe. I like how the toe's nice and solid, and I'm not a fan of the Kitchener stitch, so I like that that's the toe, but I just really don't like this heel at all. So I'm definitely looking for some alternatives there. And then I did the super stretchy bind off, which is almost a little too stretchy. So overall, these are for me, so I'm not super picky about it. And I'm semi-happy, but I bet you the second one's gonna turn out like 10,000 times better. I'll have just like a mismatched pair of house socks, who knows. But anyway, that's my half. So again, it's half because I only have 1 sock finished, and I still need to do the next one. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention on the Song of the Sea Cow, the yarn that I used was Wool & Vine Yarns Blitzed base, and the colorway is Lovey and Rose. And it was such a pleasure to knit with. Like, this is super, super springy and cushy, and it was soft to my hands. It's got the little sparkles in it. My aunt's gonna love this. So if you watch the Yarngasm podcast and you've been debating buying some of her yarn, I mean, it's reasonably priced for an indie dyer, but it's a little bit expensive and you have to pay for shipping and all of that. But she just makes a really beautiful product, and her blitz based is just incredible. So I would definitely recommend that. And that's it for finished objects. Like I said, I pretty much monogamously knit on the Song of the Sea cowl. So I thought I hid all of Holly's noisy toys from her before I started recording. So sorry if you hear some crinkling in the background. Yeah, I pretty much knit monogamously on that. So I'm a little short on finished objects this week, but it is what it is. Next, I only have one whip, one thing that's currently on the needles that I actually did some progress on this week. And that is the 16 cable hat that I'm making for somebody for Christmas. And I'm going to be good and not mention who at this point. This is the 16 cable hat. The pattern is by Circe Belles Boucles. Probably totally messing that up. But it's a really popular pattern on Ravelry. And so you can see that it's got some really cool chunky cables in it. And yeah, it's got two different sizes. I'm knitting the bigger size just because I think this person will like a baggier hat. But yeah, so far I'm pretty excited with how this is going. After I cast off the cowl last night, I immediately picked this up to start working on this. So, and you can see, like, I made some pretty good progress last night. Here's my little progress keeper. That's where I was before last night. So I got going pretty good on this thing. So I'm pretty excited with this. And I'm knitting this out of, it's Barocco's Ultra Opaca, or Barocco, I always say it wrong. And this is their light gray colorway. The person that I'm knitting this for lives up north, so they will definitely appreciate a heavier hat. So yeah, that's that. And that's it for what's on my needles, which is totally embarrassing, but I'm finding that if I want to finish what I've got scheduled for Christmas knitting, I need to just be like super monogamous and just crank out a project, done, next project, crank out a project, done. Because I am being super ambitious this year and trying to knit all the things. So yeah, we're gonna see how that goes. I've got some money set aside in case I need to go buy some last minute gifts. But I have some free time, a lot of free time at night, so that's what's going on there. I'm a bit of a night owl, so I get a lot of knitting. And actually, I knit so hard on that cowl and I was knitting them with my Hiya Sharps. Little sharp. Got a little bit of a, see if you can focus in on that. Waiting for the callus to develop because I've got a little bit of a hole in my finger, and that feels amazing once the little Sharpie needle goes in. Let me tell you how fun that feels. I tried some liquid bandage yesterday and it pretty much just wore right off. So I'm having to be very sensitive about what's going on my finger. Someone suggested that maybe try like little finger condoms, but I don't like, I've tried knitting with a Band-Aid on it before and it just gets in the way. So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna end up with like a big old hole in my finger by the time Christmas comes along. Moving on to acquisitions. And this freaking tea is good. It's so funny. I said something about like my first episode about like I didn't understand knitters with tea. So I've tried to kind of get into it a little bit more. And I find that like everybody wants to talk to me about tea now. And I don't know if it's just because it's colder. But my cousin actually gave me this tea bag to try out. It's a Tazo passion fruit. And it's non-caffeinated, which kind of runs contrary to everything that I believe that tea should be. But it's really good, and it's like pink, so I hope it doesn't stain my teeth. I'm drinking it hot right now, but I think this would be really good iced. Well, They probably sell it at Starbucks as iced. I don't know. I'm not really a Starbucks person. Okay, acquisitions. Last podcast, I believe, I mentioned that I was waiting on a delivery from Wool, and it came. This was kind of a little bit of a Black Friday thing for me. And it also goes along with, well, both of them actually, but specifically the first one is, goes along with my project that I'm going to do for our knit along, the Challenge Yourself knit along, because I wanted to do something with color work. So this is one of my things I got from Wool, and this is in their Legacy DK base, which is a 100% certified organic merino wool. And I got, let's see, the yellow one is Dandelion, the white one is Natural, and the blue one is Lake Erie. And I'm going to be knitting the Garfunkel hat, which is an Wool pattern. And that's actually kind of, I'd heard the name before on different podcasts, but hadn't really checked them out. And I was looking for colorwork hat patterns and found this one, and so kind of linked me to their website. And I was like, you know what, their yarn is actually really reasonably priced. I'm just going to go ahead and check them out. And so far, I mean, I like it. It's squishy. It's a little bit scratchier than what I expected, but I think that's kind of par for the course with organic wool. It's got a lot less processing to it. And I mean, it's just straight up merino. So anyway, that's what I got for the Garfunkel hat. And then while I was on there, I decided to go ahead and I bought one of their kits. And it is for their Valley Green end cowl. And all of these are in their classic worsted base. So the kit included 5 different skeins of yarn. Let's see if I can get all of them in the frame. All of them in one shot. Kind of. Yee. So, yeah, so this is kind of another colorwork thing that I can do for the knit along, and I might just do that. Yeah, so I've got Black Bear, yeah, Mustard Seed, Barn Owl, Bluebell, and Brook Trout. And these are all, again, in their worsted base, which is just classic worsted. And the kit came with all 5 skeins. I think it was only like, maybe like $37, $40. Like, it really was not expensive. And yeah, so got that. And that's going to be a post-Christmas project. I have a lot of acquisitions today. Most of it, it's like the Wool stuff was Black Friday, and I still have the Knit Picks order that I'm waiting on from Black Friday, which I'm actually really disappointed with their standard shipping. I went ahead and just said no expedited, none of that, because I don't really need it anytime soon. But I really think that it should be coming faster than this. Like, I ordered it on Black Friday. Today's the 11th, and I still haven't gotten it. I just received shipping notification yesterday. That is really disappointing. I get it. It's the holidays. They're behind. But come on. I should have just sprung for the $7 or $8 that it was going to cost to get it in 3 days. Anyway. So that, and then I went back to 2 of my local yarn. I have 2 yarn stores that are really close to where I live, and picked up some stuff for Christmas projects, and some stuff for, and one thing that was just a total splurge for myself. So here's the splurge for myself. This is Biscotte Yarns Self-Striping Sock, and I can't find the colorway name on this, so I don't even know what I want to call it. It is kind of like it's got some purples, some reds, oh, it's more of a pink, brown, 2 shades of blue, and it's going to be self-striping. So I'm excited about that. And this is a 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. So these are going to be some great socks. And this is really soft and fun to play with. They had like 6 different colorways at my store, and I had a really hard time deciding which one to get. Like, I really had to talk myself out of getting all of them. But yeah. And then I got some Barocco Ultra Alpaca Fine. And this is just color 1279, so brown. and some Cascade Heritage sock yarn in a gray colorway. And I just got these for some contrasting toes and heels for socks. I have a lot of sock yarns that these two colors will go with. So these are just going to be contrasting toes and heels colors. I also got this Cascades Eco Alpaca. Colorway is 1510. It's kind of a cool cream color. And I like this. This is so soft and squishy, and it's going to have great drape. I got this to make another 16 cable hat because I'm already really liking the pattern as it's working out. And I can think of another person on my Christmas list that will greatly enjoy it. So the other one's flying off my needles really fast. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one as well. And I'm pretty sure this is a worsted base, or maybe like a light worsted. So it's still going to work really well. So pretty pleased with that. And then I got me some Madeline Tosh, and this is all for Christmas gifts. It's not just for me, but just one of my weaknesses is Tosh DK. I love it. I love the way it works up. It's so pretty. She's got such great colors, and it's just so versatile. So I got this Tosh DK. Colorway is Warm Denim, and I'm gonna make my sister a beanie out of this because she loves color blue and it's her school colors and everything, and she'll really enjoy this. I also got some more Tosh DK in the Astrid Gray. And this is going to be for my stepbrother. I think I'm going to make the barley hat out of this. And then some more Tosh DK, and this one is Vermilion. I always thought Vermilion was a purple, but this is the Vermilion. And I'm going to make a noble cowl out of this for my grandmother. So, and those are all projects that I know will go pretty quick off my needles, so hoping I get those done in time. I've just got, I have so much that I really want to knit before Christmas. And I mean, I've got, what, probably like 2 weeks left, I think. And again, I've got a lot of free time on my hands right now, so I think I can do it. It's just going to be a matter of go after it. So yeah, that actually brings me straight into Christmas knitting, because that's definitely what I've been thinking about a lot lately. I've got on planned the 16 cable hat that I've got about halfway done. Excuse me. And I'm going to make another one out of the Cascade Eco Alpaca. The noble cowl for my grandmother, barley hat for my stepbrother. The beanie for my sister is skipping beanie, I believe. I'm going to do another cheeky-ish for my cousin, which is actually for her birthday. And then I'm doing a team stripe scarf for my grandfather. I have not figured out what to get my mom or my dad, or what to make them. So I have a feeling they may end up with just like purchase gifts. Mostly because there's something I really want to make my mom, but I know I don't have enough time to do it. So, and I don't want to give her like an IOU because it's my mother. So I think I'm going to buy her something and then gift, like, one of my first projects of the new year be something knitted for her. So that's what I got going on. Moving right along into our knit along that we've got planned for the first of the year. It is the Challenge Yourself Knit Along, and the idea is that I want you to knit a project that is something challenging to you, a technique that you don't really know very well, or something that you've never tried. The spirit of this is because, like, I am a beginner knitter and I like to continue to challenge myself all the time. So I want y'all to challenge yourself, because even more experienced knitters still run into things that they just are really not a fan of. One of the viewers that's been reaching out to me, Tasha Cafe Verona, she's been helping me out a lot with Fair Isle, which is something that to me is just like, whoa, that's so advanced. I will never be able to do that. But she mentioned that she got a little bit inspired by the last podcast when I talked about all the different socks things I was trying, and she said that socks was never really something that she always found it challenging. So that's that's what she wants to knit for our knit along. So something in that spirit. Even more experienced knitters that are doing the crazy cool stuff still have that one thing that is just, whew, that's hard. So that is what our knit along is. And I'm going to open up the thread. It's going to start on January 1st, and it's also my knitting anniversary. So that's kind of fun that we're starting it that way. And it's going to run for 2 months, I decided. So I'll close it down March 1st. And that'll give me a little bit of time to make sure I've got all the prizes and everything situated, and give y'all time if you want to do something like huge. Like I'm doing color work, that's my thing, and I know that that's going to take me a while. So gives you time to really do something that you really will enjoy. So prizes. I have been trying very desperately, actually the Madeline Tosh purchases were because I was trying, to get a skein of, it's a local indie dyer to me, Interloop Dye Works. I had purchased her stuff at, I purchased two skeins of her yarn at one of my local knitting stores 4 or 5 months ago, and I talked to her a little bit on Ravelry. She said she's bringing some stuff in, and it was supposed to happen last week, so I went in on Monday and I went there, and then they said, oh, it'll be here Friday, and so I just went in this morning and it wasn't here. So that's what I really want to give away as a prize. So they're supposed to call me when she comes and drop stuff off, so waiting for that. So I want to get a skein of that, and I also bought some stitch markers off of Etsy, and the seller is Colo Rings by Ellie. Hope that focuses out, because I really want you to visit her shop. And she has got really cute stitch markers at a really reasonable price. Like I did a Pickaninny 5 for $10, so, or $9.95 or something like that. And I also managed to score it during a Black Friday deal. So I got myself 5, and then I got 5 for giveaways. So it's taking my camera forever to focus and unfocus, so I'm not going to get real up close and personal with these, but just suffice to say, these are really cute little progress keepers. I call them stitch markers, but they're progress keepers. Got a little monkey. These are the ones I'm keeping, sorry guys. Dragonflies, because that's my thing. A little fairy, it's another one of my things. An owl, and a high heel, and the one that's on my 16 cable hat is a mermaid. So I ordered a total of 10 and she sent me 11. So I think she just kind of picked out a random one for me to be nice. So that was kind of cool. And then the ones that are going to be part of the giveaway or the prize for the knit along. We have a little Russian nesting doll, yarn, a pretzel, just because that's funny, a bumblebee, and a little cat. So got some progress keepers to give away. And again, that plus the skein of yarn from Interloop Dye Works is going to be the prize for the knit along. Same thing, I believe, is going to be the prize for the 100 subscriber giveaway, which we are up to, I believe last time I looked, 60 subscribers to the YouTube podcast. So if you've got some friends that you want to participate, might want to tell them, hey, subscribe, because then she'll give stuff away. I'm going to do another skein of yarn and probably some more progress keepers. I think I really am pleased with these, and they came really fast. So pretty sure I'm going to order some more progress keepers from Miss Colo Rings. And then perhaps a project bag. Kind of on the fence on that one right now. So that is going to be the giveaway thread that I will open once we hit 100 subscribers. So keep a lookout. I believe that's actually all I have for knitting related good stuff. Gonna go ahead and pipe on over to just some chatter. Well, actually, this is still kind of knitting related. I am going on a yarn diet. I have been buying a crap ton of yarn lately. A lot. I mean, God, you've noticed, like every podcast, I'm like, here's 17,000 new skeins that I bought this week. And I know it seems like I buy a lot, but I really do buy a lot of yarn. And I have so much in stash. There's really no need for me to continue buying yarn at the volume that I do. I've got a lot of things planned for the new year, and I'd kind of like to just stash bust a little bit for a while. So you may not be seeing so much in the acquisitions area for a while, just because, yeah, I need to go on a yarn diet. So once Christmas happens, well, my family will probably buy me gift certificates to Yarn for Fiber related goodies for Christmas. So you might see some Christmas acquisitions, but yeah, cut off again. So edit. Anyway, jump right back into it. Once the Christmas related stuff is over, then I will be yarn dieting. So that's that. I also don't have a whole lot of storage in my apartment, and I've kind of noticed that my yarn has started creeping into like public spaces that I'd rather not have yarn peeking out, just because I like to keep things a little bit neat and tidy. So look forward to that yarn diet here. Something else that we've been going through this week, and when I say we, I'm meaning me and Miss Holly Golightly. Holly got spayed on Tuesday because I am a good responsible pet owner, and also I don't want to have to deal with the girl dog and heat. Anyway, she got spayed on Tuesday, and today's Friday, and she's recovering great. She came home when I went to go pick her up Tuesday afternoon. She looked at me like I was the most evil person in the world. She was so pissed off at me. And they brought me out to her, just like holding her like a little baby, and she's got her little paw up where the IV line was, and I felt so awful. But you know, she just pretty much slept all night Tuesday. Well, she didn't really sleep. She just kind of laid there just looking at me. Wednesday, she was a little bit more active, but she hated this cone, the cone they put on her, which was like a paper one almost. And she managed to get it off a couple of times, and she was always battling it. So I decided to upgrade the cone situation. My aunt has 2 small dogs, and she had an inflatable collar, which kind of looks like an airline pillow, but all the way around, that fit Holly. So we went and got that from her on Wednesday night, and she's been much happier. She's got mobility now. She can chew on her bones, and she can see, so she's a lot more excited about that because the other cone was kind of limiting. Last night she was still a little bit whiny, and she did really great Wednesday. She I think she tried to go a little too hard Wednesday, so she slept really hard. She kind of actually had me a little bit worried. Yesterday she was just really, really whiny and just uncomfortable and sore. But this morning she woke up and she is back to like normal. Yeah, so a little baby girl, and she is right by my feet. So let's pop up, and you want to say hi? You want to tell everybody hi? Come here. Come here, baby girl. Well, now she's running away. Come here. Okay, maybe she doesn't want to say hi. Okay. Are we playing? See, she's back to her normal spunky self now. She's playing again because she is just, her tail's just a wagging. So, here's Miss Holly wanting to say hi. My poor little girl with her cone. But yeah, so she's so freaking active now that like I need her to calm down a little bit. Well, she's freaked out because she's on the table and she's not allowed up here normally. But yeah. So, little Miss Holly had a little surgery, and now she loves me again, so that's good too, because she was kind of mad at me for a little while. But yeah. So anyway, I am going to go ahead and sign off for the week. Again, check me out on Instagram. Subscribe, so I can go ahead and get that giveaway done. Join the group on Ravelry. Do all that good stuff. Show notes are going to be on the blog as soon as this is published. So anyway, I will go ahead and say goodbye, and I will see you next week with hopefully like 50 million projects done, but maybe 4 or 5. So anyway, thanks and bye.